Today, Cern is home to the largest and most powerful particle accelerator in the world, the Large Hadron Collider, or LHC, where we accelerate and collide beams of particles such as protons or lead ions. The journey of the protons begins with a bottle of ordinary hydrogen gas. The hydrogen atoms are stripped of their electrons, leaving their protons ready to be fed into a series of linear and increasingly large circular accelerators, gaining energy and momentum at each stage before finally entering the LHC at very nearly the speed of light. When we collide these particles inside the LHC, the energy from the collision is concentrated in the tiniest and emptiest possible space in the accelerator's vacuum pipe. This is where the most famous scientific formula in the world, E equals mc squared, comes into play. At the heart of the LHC's detectors, the energy from the collision spontaneously transforms into the mass of hundreds of new particles which were not present before. Collisions at the LHC reproduce the conditions that existed a trillionth of a second after the Big Bang. The colossal amount of data generated by experiments at Cern and the unprecedented need for storing and distributing them to the world for analysis have pushed computing technologies to their limit. Today, about 500,000 processor cores are required to analyze the data produced by the LHC collisions. This requires the interconnection of more than 170 data centers around the world in what we call the worldwide LHC computing grid.
Proton and make a collision, this energy actually transform to the mass on the other side of the equation. So it could create the particle much heavier than proton itself. The task for calorimeter is try to measure the energy. So to measure the energy of this particle, you have to stop it. Otherwise, they penetrate. You only get a part of the energy information. But we want to get total energy information. That's why big detector becomes so big. For many years, we have a very small detector is good enough. We can stop all secondary particle from collision. But now, because the initial energy of a secondary particle is so high, you have to build a very big detector, many layers. You can stop it. Otherwise, the penetrate. Okay, so they actually the calorimeter to stop almost all secondary particles. Now we will get energy information.
Why you call it a God particle? Is there any specific meaning?
This is I don't know what just people call it because this is a mystery. This is the last particle in the standard mode. Okay, yeah, it's like what I think you point to Higgs boson, right? This is called golden particle.
What started once as a vision for European science has grown into a unique model for global scientific and technological collaboration. Cern demonstrates how science can unite nations and contribute to a better world.